So hello guys, in this video I'm just going to show you how do I use my prompts PDF, which you must have already, to make presentation submissions in span of few hours. And as you can see, this is my topic: from local to listed, SME IPOs as India's next wealth creation engine. So let's get straight into the video. I do not want to waste much of the time because deadline आ चुकी है. अभी 12:04 हुए हैं. Let's see how fast we can proceed with our list of prompts. So here I have the prompt PDF. I'm simply going to replace the topic name. Yeah, SME IPOs India's next wealth creation journey will replace all. It has made the replacements, and yeah, I think this is fine, and I have everything open. We first select direct, then web search. In that we use Claude to make the prompts. Yep. And while we are at it, oh, it has already given us the prompts, so let's just wait for it. I have divided the entire prompt PDF into a number of tools. Like for some things you are using ChatGPT, for something you are using Claude, for something you are using something else. The reason why I have done is I have done that is because undoubtedly Claude is best of all, but you cannot do everything from Claude because there are credit limits. If you do everything from Claude, you'll run out of credits eventually before you prepare the entire thing. So we can rather give the things to somebody else who are maybe as good as Claude for doing those things. Say for example, you are using ChatGPT for research, so it does quite a good amount of research in terms of what we need. Here we go with this prompt. We copy the first two prompts, we go to the new chat here, and we use GPT 5.1 search SP. We paste. Is that one thing I'd like to mention here is, do not use this prompts like just for a copy paste thing, or like using it directly without seeing are these prompts really applicable for your presentation topic as well. Because if we see this topic, from local to listed SME IPOs, it is something which has technical implications. So for technical topics like audit, tax, startup, financial markets, and related to those, these prompts are really good because it has origin, the core concept, and legal structural architecture, the forward looking statements, the controversies, global comparisons, etc. So I have prepared it generally what every topic may be needing, but there are some topics which may not be needing all these aspects, right? And here it has given the outcomes for the first two prompts. We'll be going back to the prompts and copy the prompt number 3 and 4. Yeah, and we'll just paste it here. So in that sense, you can maybe get rid of, say there are 8 research prompts, you may delete the prompt which talks about the regulatory framework, or the prompt which talks about maybe forward looking, not the forward but the policy makers lens, the research prompt number 8, because there is no policy makers lens when it comes to some topics. Maybe in terms of AI, you may not need a separate research prompt for that, because forward looking statements in itself will cover everything, right? So here we go with the prompt number 3 and 4. We do it now. Where was I? Yeah. And how do you choose your topics? Like how did I choose my topic of this SME tool IPO from local to listed? Firstly, it should be something that you are familiar with a bit, because that's what will give you an edge. Because when you are preparing an audition script, if you mention that I have been in discussions, I have been across the tables where the stakeholders are discussing about the things relating to how do you scale your IPOs, the things about how do you value your company, I have seen those discussions happening right in front of my eyes with my principal, with the top management, with the senior management personnel who have the decision power of a company's fortune or future, or so to say. So if you mention these things in your audition, this will give you an edge. But for some reasons, if you cannot choose, maybe your friend is applying the same topic as yours, so you choose something else like AI or maybe startups. Then it's fine. This prompts will help you a lot in terms of research and everything. But make sure you choose the topic where you have something to tell, something you can make sense with. Another thing about presentation is that like there are two things. First is what you speak, the content part, the words, the concept, the fundamentals, everything that you cover in the 10-minute presentation. And the other half is how you speak. And there is no either or. It's not that one is important more than the other. They both go hand in hand. Yeah, the goal is to strike the most perfect balance, because at the end, of course, all of our goals, all of us will be having the goals that we become the best presenter in any of the conferences. And because, of course, it adds a good title, but it also opens your doors to international conference, because in international conferences you only get to present if you are a best presenter somewhere else. You really need to ensure that you strike the most perfect balance. It should not be that your delivery, your content style, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the fluency, the attire, the outfits that you are putting on, the all those things do matter, of course, but all those things are again secondary. uh, in one of my recent presentations, I presented on Gift City, and I was not given the best presenter award, and it was quite acceptable. But the only part was the content which I was presenting, the content which I presented during that topic was not enough. So firstly, communicate with the organizers, the committee of the conference, that what is the actual time limit. Ask them two times, confirm them before presenting, like confirm two times whether it's 10 minutes, 12 minutes or 15 minutes. And I could not see, my topic was decoding tax benefits and incentives. So while you say decoding tax benefits, it also covers direct tax and indirect tax, and the incentive part covers uh, the operational incentives. Suppose like you have labor law incentives, provident fund incentives, all those incentives that you get apart from the tax part. So those three things were supposed to be covered in my presentation. 9 minutes, or 9 minutes out of 10 minutes was about the income tax deductions and income tax exemptions that you get. That is why my presentation turned out to be something which was too much focused on income tax, and it did not justify the topic completely. So make sure when you are uh, like when the entire workflow, you will run the entire workflow, you have the PPT, you have everything. Just ask yourself a question, whether this uh, PPT of mine is covering every aspect of the topic. Second thing is the time limit. That is, you have only 10 minutes to present. How do you fit the entire content in just 10 minutes, 12 minutes or 15 minutes? Because what you speak matters only if that is digested or that is delivered to the audience and it is accepted by the audience. Because in one of the again earlier presentations of mine, the reason I was not given, the reason I could not have best presenter award is because the audience did not grab what I was speaking. The audience could not grab what I was speaking because I was speaking too fast. First, second thing, the jargons, the technical part, the like terminologies, I used those terminologies so much that the audience lost their attention. And that is the second part. Once you are done with your content, second part is to ensure how you speak that content so that audience retains the attention, and how much you speak. It's not that It's not that you are speak like if you've been given 10 minutes and you speak so much, you keep speaking about one after another topic, one after another exemption, one after another deduction or whatever your topic is requiring you to present, and the audience is like he's just reciting what is available on internet, what is available over the regulations. So the idea is to strike a perfect balance. First, everything should be covered in a manner that audience grabs. And finally, we have outcomes for the research prompt 7 and 8. So it's time to make the research paper from this researches that we have done. Okay. I think we have everything. Yeah. Now let's talk about the fourth most important thing when it comes to presentation. Well, when you have finalized what you're going to speak, the thing that you finalize after that is how you speak. So there are three parts of your presentation. First part is how you introduce, how you bring the audience in inside the topic. Second part is how you retain the audience, and third part is how you leave the audience. That is introduction, the presentation, the core presentation, and conclusion. So I have mentioned everything already in the presentation script, the prompt that generates the presentation script, that the first part, introduction, should open should open with something shocking, a surprise, or something that actually brings people in. It can either be something social, or it can either be something technical. There was one of my presentations was about startup failures, so I opened that with, I was scrolling through reels the other day, and a lady just came by in the reels and she just said, just because you do not give up, it does not mean you will be successful. Just think about this, the startups, every founder, every engineer, every CA, and every other student in this country is now dreaming of a startup, but 90% of startups fail within just 5 years of their inception. So this is something that pulls them in. Oh, 9 out of 10 starters just fail within just 5 years. Why does that happen? That is, you need to speak something that instinctively raises a question in their minds. Then comes the presentation part, where you have about 8 minutes, and how you present is, once you have pulled the audience in, you begin with a story. There are a lot of ways you can carry this out, you can do this, but what I personally like is story, because that's how we have learned in our childhood. Say for example, the Gift City presentation of mine, I began with, this story is about Bharat. This story is about Gift City, Bharat's 10-year-old kid that's fighting tax havens like Dubai and Singapore. So when you make it a story, that this is a story, okay, how did Gift City came into place? There was a time when when India was and India is an emerging economy, and there were demands of financial services, but people were not entering into India for some or the other reasons. And like I mentioned the reasons in presentation, for these reasons, and so India started building an IFSC, and they did this, they did that in the IFSC, like that. So people will start connecting, okay, this was the premise on which the Gift City was built. So it has given us the research paper, and now we go with the PPT content generation part. Yeah. Yo. I think we have 11 minutes actually for this presentation, so I'll just replace this with 11. Uh-huh. Okay. This is the rule 6, and so when you put up a story like that, the audience is going to relate with the story. Oh, this is how it went. Oh, so this is the reason why we are giving tax benefits at, you know. So that is the second part, and then the most important part is how you leave the audience, because You need to make sure that audience claps, audience like gives you everything that they have, gives you everything in terms of appreciation, in terms of like they should love your presentation after you give a conclusion. So the conclusion, if you have the liberty to connect the topic with something emotional, best, because when you leave the audience with emotion, they are tend to overreact, not overreact, but they're tend to give you an emotional response. So, like for example, my Gift City presentation again. So the name of the conference was Sankalp. So I just said one thing to learn from the story of Gift City is that it all began with one Sankalp of Bharat. So when you say things like this, people are naturally going to give you the attention or naturally going to feel connected with the presentation, that all it takes is one Sankalp. And now we have the slide wise content. You have two options. You can either copy this. We open, this is what I have mentioned in my this thing PDF. Will not use high 4.6 effort high, will use maybe medium. Yeah, because maybe to make PDFs it will take a lot of power. In the city of Chandigarh. My name is Aditya Rathod. Yeah. We do not want this. Start with engine. Imagine it does not. Does the. Okay. One clear purpose. Was there anything important in this? Reveal the story. Yeah. I don't think so. So alternatively, what you can do is you can go to new chat and you can open the agent mode. Right here, you paste the slidewise content and you paste this prompt as well. So you just go on top. Yeah. So while it makes us the presentation, let's talk about the fifth important thing that you would want to incorporate after you have already incorporated the four things we already discussed. Do not move to step number 5 before we have processed with the earlier 4 steps. The fifth part is voice modulation, the tone with which you speak. So there are multiple ways you can incorporate, there are multiple variations that you can incorporate in your speech so that the audience attention is retained. First is the pace. You need to have two paces in the same 10-minute script so that the audience and the judge feels that he's fluent with the language, as well as he knows where to take a pause and where to skip things at a speed. So there are some things which are most important for this topic. Here are the ones. This is how you speak slowly to increase the impact. And then you have, if you want to maybe if you want to show the fluency, not the show the fluency, but there are tons of opportunities in Gift City and there are tons of tax benefits in the Gift City, but tax exemption is not all, tax holiday is not all. There are a lot of tax ecosystems and we are going to see that all in this 10 minutes. So be with it, enjoy with me, and here we begin with the most important part of this presentation, the tax exemptions beyond a tax holiday. it just came to my mind. It was not in the script. So, but this is something, this is how you can maybe increase your speed. This is how you can speak with quickness to again retain, to again pull back the audience. So first is pace, then the third, and then the next two things are the loudness. There are some important things in this topic which matter the most to every person on in this country. So at times you need to lower your voice as well, so that it feels more natural and feels more homely for the presentation, for the audience. And at times you need to speak loud as you can be, so that you can pass on the energy to every person sitting out there and they can feel the energy of the topic. That is loudness part. But the overall, again, this is something that I've observed very commonly, that people do not use their voice. You need to be louder than you are on average, because when you are on stage, the audience is going to feel only 10% or rather 20% of what you speak. If you are speaking with 100% energy of yours, the audience will only catch 20 to 30%. So you'll need to speak with 500 or 1000% energy, so that audience can grab the entire 100% energy. You must have felt like when you say, "Are you with me?" When you speak like that, audience is going to clap, audience will be like applauding, "Oh my god, kya bol diya isne." But when you, "Are you with me?" nobody will respond, even though I speak with 100% of my energy, but the first one was 1000% of my energy. So audience will get that. Make sure you use your this thing, loudness. So loudness, speed, and yeah, pretty much this is what you can play with, loudness and speed. And the other thing is the amount of depth in your voice. Depth. So this is my natural voice. Okay, this is how I speak. But this is not how you should speak in on mic. This is how you should speak on mic. Increase the bass. If you like, for boys, this is how you speak. And if you are a girl, I don't know how, I cannot mimic that, but then add a little bit of femininity of like the tone that you use. That is one thing. The depth part. And when you're going down, when you're bringing down the loudness, maybe you can incorporate this variation. And this is the most important part of all. So when you bring this depth, this is not, even the volume is low, and along with that you're saying something with such variation. This is the most important part. Like you're whispering, as you're almost whispering with a bit loud voice. So these are the variations that if you incorporate that, because say for example, if you're just speaking in monotonous tone for 2 minutes, people will again lose attention. So if you bring that variation after speaking for 2 minutes, if you give something like a chocolate like this, something different happens on the stage, then people will feel like, oh, something interesting is happening. What is he speaking? If even if he might have lost attention, he'll come back to the topic. Yeah. It is still building the presentation. Okay, it has given us the presentation. Haha. Now SME IPO presentation, you need to think about a theme, because the design prompt that I have given, it is very much open prompt. What kind of theme can we use for this topic? Wow, wow, wow! It's already good. Like it's good with base foundation. This is not what you would like to submit. Yeah. Oh shit. You could have already yeah, let's go. So we have this. What design or theme instructions can we give? What kind of theme do I use for SME IPOs? I can use Netflix theme. I can use um, a theme like Suits or maybe Succession series. Let's go with Netflix. Yeah. table, graphs and charts whenever needed. I want the entire PPT and presentation to look like Netflix series and Netflix dashboard of desktop. We give it to this guy. Time limit for presenting the topic, and I mean the audition, it is 4 minutes. So we go here with the chat GPT and ask it for the first prompt, ask it the first prompt for audition. Aha. Look at this, people. We have the Netflix episode ready and it is still working. This is just first look of the PPT and just look at this. What we had, what we did. Yeah, so with that we have the 4-minute script and we go with this presentation script as well. We may not need this presentation script right now because we'll only need this if you are selected. But obviously you are using my prompts, so you have my blessings. And there you go, guys. We have the audition script, we have the presentation script, we have the security verification done as well of us, and we have the PPT with the theme of Netflix. And you can be as creative as you want when it comes to beautification. Netflix is not what I would suggest to stick with, even though it sounds very attractive. But there are other themes as well. You can say something like Nasdaq. Guys, it's exactly 1 hour. We are at 1 in the morning of 17th of June. We have done everything in just 1 hour. The entire research, the entire PPT making with an attractive theme for the audience, for the judges, for the jury, for the selectors of this. We have an attractive audition script. We are already ahead from others because we have the presentation script as well of 10 minutes. So yes, dude, just look at this. Look at this PPT. Look at this, bro. Who's not going to pay attention to this? Who's not going to pay attention to this? Tell me. Okay. This is really good. Okay, guys. So that was it from my side. You can make any other changes that you want to make in the that you want to make in this PPT. But for me, it's really above average. Bye bye.